Hi, this is Jim Hamilton with Core Resonance. I want to welcome you to my latest iteration of newsletters and the things I write and things I talk about and the things I do. This latest newsletter is called Things Aren't Like They Seem. And I start out with the idea that we have what's called a Mercator map. The Mercator map is the map we used in high school. It's the map we used when we learned about the world. And what's curious about the map is, besides the fact that it was produced in the 1500s, I don't know if it was 1569 or 1519 or whatever, the map is grossly inaccurate, but it's what we use every day. An example would be Africa is shown on the map, the world map that we use every day, is shown on the map as being the same size as Greenland. But actually, the USA, China, India, Japan, and all of Europe combined fit inside of Africa. So while things aren't like they seem, Africa appears to be the same size as Greenland, but it's actually 14 times larger. Now, this is a fact. It's something that we deal with every day. We don't recognize that we have information in front of us that isn't accurate. And of course, the long-range point of this article is that there are solutions in front of us as well, if but we could see them. And that's the point of the article. It's actually the point of everything that Core Resonance is about. There's a solution to everything, and I'll give you a hint. It has to do with plugging back into what's true. Nature is a perfect example. It operates in complete harmony. There's a central governance, a central order, a central sharing that everything in nature abides by. The humans are out of sync with that. That's why we're so dysfunctional as a species. And by plugging back into what's true, which is what Core Resonance is all about, we can move into a solutions orientation that is so big that the humans on this earth, you and me and the rest of us that are interested, can turn this thing around. Sounds a little crazy, but when you recognize that the more advanced we become in a conscious manner, the more contributive we become. Look at Dr. David Hawkins' map of consciousness. One person at 700 counterbalances the negativity of 70 million people below 200. Now, admittedly, 700 is a high number. A lot of us are around 550 and 600, and 600 is getting way on up there because one person at 600 counterbalances the negativity of 10 million people. Well, Core Resonance is about rapidly advancing consciousness by cleaning up and clearing out the brain and the nervous system so that innate intelligence can flow through us better into this dimension. Everything is a host for innate intelligence to express through. Everything on this planet is a subset of God. Everything. And everything is a means by which innate intelligence or God expresses. I didn't know I was going to get into all that, but there we are. Now, so that's my newest article. Things aren't like they seem, okay? And another remark around this idea from Einstein. Problems cannot be solved with the same mindset that created them. So here we are as humans. We have got massive problems, and these problems come from our dysfunction. And the idea that we're sitting around, and I'm not saying we're sitting around really, I know we're all doing what we can, but the mindset that created the problems, the solutions will not come out of that. The solutions are going to have to come from a new mindset. And Core Resonance has uncovered a way to re-enable our natural state of connection, to partner with the cosmos, to become what we can become. To do it, it's far fancier than meditation, I might add, and I will also say there's no programming. We let the brain clean itself up through neurofeedback, through Core Resonance, proprietary protocols, and on and on. We let the brain clean itself up. And guess where all the bottleneck is in our natural state of innate intelligence flowing through us? It's the brain and the mind. So I want to tell you also about the last article. I'm looking to see how much time I'm spending here. The last article I wrote is called Rights and Duties. It came out the 1st of July or thereabouts. It's in my blog post. I think it's a really important article. I will say a lot of people have read it. I think it's really important. It actually lays out the entire problem and it lays out the solution. Okay, that's big. Big. Also, I have an interview that I did. I think it was around the 10th of June with Andrew Aloha. It was titled, "What if prosperity has nothing to do with money?" The gist of the article, the interview, is that nature is prosperous on its own. In other words, in its natural state, it's absolutely prosperous. And one of the questions I posed in this interview was, what is the plan? What do we have as a planet to export? Okay, the biggest country in the world, the U.S. or thereabouts. What do we export? Okay, yeah, grain and blah, blah, blah. What do we export? Weapons. Next biggest country, what do they export? Petroleum, blah, 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 weapons. So we're going to be the first country to have cannons on Saturn? Give me a break, okay? So the idea of this article is that prosperity has nothing to do with money. It's about realigning with what's true, and in aligning with what's true comes prosperity, okay? So that's in that interview. It's almost an hour, but I find it startlingly interesting. Now, of course, I'm the one that was in it. But I have to say that it seemed to be a tough interview because Andrew had a lot of tough questions. And in those tough questions, he kept causing me to dig deeper and deeper into what I meant. And I think it's very valuable. So it's an hour. I think you'll find it interesting. I hope you'll listen to it. It's on YouTube, but you accessed it through my website, coreresonance.com. I have 2 programs that are in process right now. One of them is called the 100-Day Prosperity Plan. I wrote this stuff at the same time that I was writing Visionaries Thrive in All Times. And I'm now starting to admit that when I wrote Visionaries Thrive in All Times, it was a bit of a partnership. In other words, I spent 2 years journaling, and in that journaling, I was actually channeling quite a bit because I was writing in a third-party format. I'd say, "Good morning, Jim. We are pleased to speak with you," and that was how I journaled. I journaled for 2 years, and from there I went into the book. And that book is really, I think it's going to be around for a long time. But at the same time, I wrote the 100-Day Prosperity Plan, and I will tell you, it's a magnificent tool. That's what it is. And so what I've done is I've set it up. It's $149 a month for 4 months. There's a 30-minute call, a group call with me once a week. It's on Tuesdays. The call is recorded in audio or video or both, whatever you'd like. And it's 100 days long. You do it on your own, but the call is for support. The call is to clarify ideas. And I've done the 100-Day Prosperity Plan 4 times, and every time it has marvelous outcomes, and I will tell you that it will connect you with some very powerful things. I'll leave it at that. You can contact me for additional information. I have a new program I'm just starting, and it is called Personal Sovereignty and Advanced Contribution for a World in Need of a Few Good Ideas. Now, this is a lot more contact with me. We do 2 90-minute calls a month, or better said, every 2 weeks we do a 90-minute call. These calls are recorded also. It'll be in video, and it'll, of course, be available in audio, podcast, whatever you'd like. And what we're going to do is we're going to explore 13 topics. And these topics many of them are touched on in Visionaries Thrive in All Times. I'll give you an example of one. It's called Conscious Consentience. Just to give you a bit of background, I'll try to keep this short. Consentience is a word that initially I made up. It sounded a little bit different, I spelled it a little bit different, and in digging around in the dictionaries, I ended up finding the word consentience. And conscious consentience is when you gaze at something, you don't realize that you're contributing to it. So back in the old days, I say the old days, there's a lot of high school shootings, and people didn't realize that by gawking or by gazing at this stuff, we were contributing to it. So unconscious consentience is when we unconsciously contribute to something. And of course, we want to learn how to be more careful. We don't realize that through our eyeballs and through our nervous system and through our senses, we're plugged into the cosmos. And that by our vision, by our view, by what we look at, by our gaze, we contribute. And so conscious and unconscious consentience is a very interesting concept. It's one of the many, one of the 13 ideas or tools that we're going to explore in this personal sovereignty and advanced contribution rotational 6-month program. It's going to be $349 a month. It's going to have well, let's say it this way. Every other week, we do a 90-minute call. You can be on it or off it and pick it up later. And then there will also be another 90-minute call, or we can break it into 2 45-minute calls, and those will be for you one-on-one with me. So in other words, this is a fancy coaching program. It's about recognizing that our wiring, for the ones of us that this is true, that our natural state is to be here and to be a part of the makeup of making the world a new world. In other words, grounding God into this dimension. Our nervous system is our connection, and by knocking down the static and noise and the racket, and hence the resistance, by enabling innate intelligence to flow through us more succinctly, more completely, with less distortion, we have a better capacity to deliver solutions. And so this program is 6 months, 13 weeks. You can join it at any time. In other words, it's rotational. You get on and you get off at 6 months, or of course you can stay. It's $347 and a month. And I look forward to, what I'm looking for is kindred souls. I'm looking for people whose wiring is about making change. And it's not about making change on your own. And it's not about getting out there and fighting what's wrong, even more importantly. It's about partnering with innate intelligence, partnering with what's true. You got to look around and find something that's successful. Partner with the bank. Excuse me, those days are just about over. Even partnering with any of these corporations, working for GE and some of this stuff, those days are over. Humans have got to partner with what's true, and in doing so, we will become prosperous as a species, and we will be able to export something of value off this planet. That reminds me of the Rights and Duties article. I consider it really important. So I'm going to end this broadcast. I want to thank you for showing up. Please contact me about these programs I'm offering. I also have the freebie, Free Cell and the Keys of the Universe, which was also written at the same time I wrote the 100-Day Prosperity Plan, about the time I was finishing up Visionaries Thrive in All Times. It's a freebie, and what it shows, in fact, I had a marvelous game today. I had a game that I couldn't win, and I put it away. What Free Cell and the Keys of the Universe is about? You play Free Cell on the computer, and as you play the games, as you learn how to play, and as you start to lose a game, in other words, you're not seeing moves, so what you do is, instead of continuing to play, is you stop. And what you do is you come back to the game later, because it's easy to save it on the computer, and you will see moves you didn't see before. What the point of that is, in fact, that'll be one of our 13 lessons, is that everything is in front of your eyes, but you could see it. And the Free Cell and the Keys of the Universe is a great example of that. So I have a new article called Things Aren't Like They Seem. I encourage you to read it. It's very nice to be in touch, and I wish you peace and love. Namaste.